When I stand here tonight, I'm not just holding a microphone. I'm holding a secret I've carried in my heart, quietly, patiently, like a man protecting something sacred. Future wife, this isn't just a birthday party. It's a promise wrapped in candles and soft music. It's every late night thought I've ever had about the way your smile changes a room. It's every silent prayer I whispered, hoping the universe would lead me to you. I planned this surprise the way I plan everything important in my life, with intention, with care, and with a little bit of fearless hope. Because you deserve moments that make your heart race in the most beautiful way. You deserve to walk into a room and feel the world pause just to celebrate you. And tonight, that's exactly what we're doing. So everyone here, look at her. Look at the woman who doesn't even know how extraordinary she is. The woman who makes ordinary days feel like scenes from a story worth telling. Future wife, this night is about your birthday, but it's also about something bigger. It's about the first of many surprises I'll spend my life creating for you. Tonight looks like a simple celebration. Balloons floating lazily against the ceiling, soft lights glowing like quiet stars, music playing just low enough to let laughter breathe. But what you don't see, what no one sees at first, is the story that started long before this moment. I've been carrying this secret for weeks, maybe longer. It began the first time I noticed how you pretend not to care about birthdays, how you shrug and say, it's just another day. But I see you. I see the small pause in your voice, the way your eyes soften when someone remembers the smallest detail about you, the way you give so much to everyone else and expect nothing in return. And I thought, not this year, not for you, because you deserve more than just another day. You deserve a night that feels like the world stops spinning just to celebrate the miracle of your existence. So I started planning quietly, carefully, like a man building something fragile and powerful at the same time. I memorized your schedule. I called the people who matter. I listened to your stories about your favorite cake flavor as if they were coded messages. Every detail became important. Every choice felt sacred. There were moments I almost told you, moments when you looked at me with that suspicious smile and asked why I seemed distracted. I had to fight the urge to confess, because keeping this surprise wasn't about deception. It was about devotion. It was about creating a memory that would live in your heart long after the candles burned out. I kept imagining your face the second you walk into this room, the second the lights shift and the music rises and everyone shouts your name. That flash of shock, that hand flying to your mouth, that laugh you try to hold back but can't. I replayed that moment in my mind like a scene from a film I never wanted to end. You see, this isn't really about a party. It's about you. It's about the way you walk into my life and make everything brighter without even trying. The way you turn ordinary conversations into something meaningful. The way you look at me like I am stronger than I think I am. I wanted this night to reflect that light back to you, to show you even for a few hours what it feels like to be surrounded by the love you give so freely. There's something powerful about surprises. They remind us that magic still exists, that someone was thinking about us when we weren't looking, that love can move quietly in the background, setting the stage for something beautiful, and loving you feels like that quiet strength, steady intention, a kind of devotion that doesn't need applause. When I chose the decorations, I imagined how the colors would glow against your skin. When I picked the music, I thought about the rhythm of your laugh. When I lit the candles, I realized something. Every flame is small on its own, but together they light up the entire room, just like the moments we've shared. You might look around tonight and see balloons and cake and smiling faces, but what I see is a reflection of how much you matter, how deeply you're valued, how profoundly you've changed my world without even knowing it. I remember the first time you told me about a birthday from your childhood, how simple it was, how you didn't need much to feel happy. And that's exactly why I wanted to give you more. Not because you demand it, but because you deserve it. You've given me reasons to believe in things I stopped believing in timing, in fate, in the idea that two people can find each other in the chaos of this world and decide quietly, confidently, to stand side by side. So yes, I surprised you, but the truth is you've been surprising me since the day we met, with your patience, with your courage, with your ability to love without fear. This party is my way of saying I see you, not just the version of you that smiles in public, not just the strong one who carries everyone else's weight. I see the tired days, the quiet doubts, the moments when you question if you're enough. You are more than enough, and tonight is proof. Every person here represents a piece of the life you've touched. Every candle represents a year that shaped you into the woman standing in this room. And I stand here knowing that this is only the beginning. I didn't plan this to impress you. I planned it to honor you, to remind you that your existence is not ordinary. It's rare. It's powerful. It's something worth celebrating loudly. Future wife, I wanted you to walk into this room and feel what I feel every time I look at you. Gratitude. A quiet, overwhelming certainty that I am lucky to know you. And as the lights glow around you and the music wraps around this moment, I hope you understand that this wasn't just a birthday surprise. It was a glimpse of the life I want to build with you. A life where I keep finding new ways to make you feel seen, where ordinary days turn into unexpected magic, where love isn't just spoken, it's shown in details, in effort, in silent preparation. Because loving you isn't loud, it's intentional, it's steady. It's the kind of love that plans in secret just to watch you shine in the spotlight. And when you look at me tonight with those eyes full of disbelief and joy, I want you to know that this is only one moment in a lifetime of moments I'm ready to create for you. Quietly, patiently, endlessly. As long as you'll let me stand beside you in rooms like this, watching you glow, knowing that every surprise, every candle, every whispered plan was worth it, just to see you smile the way you're smiling right now. While the music rises and the room feels warmer and the night feels alive, I'm standing here still holding the secret I carried for so long, finally watching it unfold in front of you, in front of everyone. In front of the future that's waiting just beyond this moment where your laughter fills the air. And I realize I would plan 1,000 more nights like this just to protect that sound, just to honor that light, just to remind you again and again that you are celebrated, you are chosen, you are loved in ways that don't need an audience. But tonight you have one anyway. And I'll keep choosing you in quiet rooms and crowded ones, in simple days and extraordinary nights, in surprises whispered behind closed doors and in open celebrations like this one, where the only thing louder than the music is the truth beating inside my chest, that this secret, this effort, this entire night was always about you and the way you make the world feel less heavy and more possible and more alive and more worth believing in. I remember the exact second you stepped through that door. You weren't expecting anything extraordinary, just another room, just another evening. You walked in with that natural grace you don't even realize you have, adjusting your sleeve, maybe thinking about something small and ordinary. And then the world shifted. The music swelled. Voices rose all at once, calling your name like it was something sacred. And in that moment, time didn't slow down. It sharpened. Your eyes widened. Not out of vanity, not out of pride, but pure disbelief. Your hand instinctively covered your mouth as if you were trying to hold in the shock, trying to contain the wave of emotion that rushed through you, but you couldn't hide it. The smile broke through. It always does. I've seen you smile before. I've seen you laugh on quiet mornings and during late-night conversations when the world felt far away. But this smile, this one was different. It was unguarded. It was raw. It was you realizing all at once that you were the center of something beautiful, and you deserve that feeling. You deserve to walk into a room and feel the air change because you're in it. You deserve to see people gathered not out of obligation but out of love. You deserve to feel celebrated in a way that doesn't ask you to give anything back. As you stood there, frozen between surprise and laughter, I watched you carefully, not to see if the plan worked, not to measure the success of the party, but to witness something real, to see what it looks like when someone who gives so much finally receives. You started looking around the room, making eye contact with everyone, your expression shifting from shock to gratitude. You kept shaking your head softly like you couldn't believe any of it was real. But it was real. Every detail, every candle, every whispered coordination behind your back. It was all real, and it was all for you. The music wrapped around the moment like a soundtrack chosen by fate. Laughter bounced off the walls. Conversations overlapped. Glasses clinked. And in the center of it all, there you were glowing. Not because of the lights, but because of the realization that you mattered deeply to so many people. I saw the way you hugged everyone a little tighter that night, the way your voice trembled slightly when you said thank you, the way you kept looking at me like you were trying to understand how this was possible. But the truth is simple. When someone is extraordinary, the night becomes extraordinary around them. You don't chase attention. You don't demand celebration. You move through life with quiet strength. You listen more than you speak. You carry other people's worries like they're your own. And somehow in the middle of all that, you forget how rare you are. Tonight was about correcting that. It was about showing you that your presence changes the temperature of a room, that your laughter can dissolve tension, that your kindness doesn't go unnoticed. As the candles were placed in front of you, I watched the soft flicker of light dance across your face. For a second, you looked almost shy, like you weren't sure you deserved this much attention, but you do. You always have. You closed your eyes before making a wish. I don't know what you wished for. Maybe you wished for peace. Maybe you wished for love. Maybe you wished for the courage to chase something you've been afraid of. But as you stood there surrounded by people who care about you, I realized something. Sometimes the wish is already standing in front of you. Sometimes the magic isn't in the future, it's in the room you just walked into. You started moving through the crowd, talking, laughing, glowing in a way that felt effortless. Every conversation pulled more light out of you. Every smile from someone else reflected something back into your eyes. And I stayed close enough to see it all. Not to claim credit, not to control the moment, but to protect it, to hold space for it, to make sure nothing interrupted the joy unfolding in front of me. Because that's what loving you feels like. Not loud, not possessive, just steady, present. The night unfolded naturally after that. Stories were shared, music got louder, someone started dancing badly on purpose. You laughed so hard at one point that you had to lean against the wall to steady yourself. And I remember thinking, this is it. This is what I wanted. Not perfection, not extravagance, just this sound, this energy, this feeling, this... There's something powerful about watching someone you love experience pure surprise. It strips away their usual defenses. It shows you their most honest reaction. And your reaction was beautiful. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was genuine. You kept saying, I can't believe this, but I could believe it because I know how much you've earned it. I know the quiet sacrifices you make. I know the way you put yourself last more often than you should. I know the weight you carry without complaint. Tonight wasn't about excess, it was about recognition. Recognition that your existence is worth organizing an entire room around. Recognition that your birthday is not just another day. Recognition that the woman standing there glowing in candlelight is someone whose life touches more people than she realizes. And as the night deepened and the lights softened even more, I caught you looking around again, this time not in shock, but in reflection, like you were memorizing the moment, like you were storing it somewhere safe inside your heart. That's when I knew the surprise had done more than just impress you, it had reached you. You didn't need fireworks, you didn't need extravagance. You just needed proof that someone was paying attention, and I have always been paying attention. To the way your eyes light up when something makes you truly happy, to the subtle changes in your voice when you feel appreciated, to the quiet strength in your posture when you realize you are surrounded by love. The night you walked into your own magic wasn't about the decorations or the music. It was about alignment. It was about the world reflecting back to you the love you constantly send out. And as I stood there watching you exist so fully in that moment, I understood something deeper. This is only the beginning of the rooms I want you to walk into and feel celebrated in. This is only one chapter of many nights where you will step forward unaware of what's waiting, only to find joy expanding in front of you, unfolding gently, naturally, like it was always meant to happen. The second you cross that doorway and let yourself be surprised by how deeply you are valued and how brightly you are meant to shine in spaces that finally recognize your worth without hesitation or doubt. And I'll keep watching that transformation every time. The shift from ordinary to extraordinary. The moment you realize you're loved beyond your expectations and seen beyond your understanding and held in ways that don't always need to be loud, but sometimes deserve to echo through a room full of people who gather just to remind you that you are the reason the night feels alive, and the reason the lights seem warmer, and the reason every laugh sounds fuller, because you walked in and brought your quiet magic with you without even trying. You've never asked for much. That's one of the first things I noticed about you. You don't demand attention. You don't measure love by grand gestures. You don't keep score. You move through life with a quiet resilience, like someone who learned early that strength doesn't need an audience. But just because you don't ask for more doesn't mean you don't deserve more. You deserve more than ordinary love. Not the kind that fades when things get difficult. Not the kind that shows up only when it's convenient. Not the kind that makes promises in loud moments and forgets them in quiet ones. You deserve a love that stays steady, a love that sees you, that pays attention, that remembers how you take your coffee, how you go silent when something is weighing on your heart, how you pretend to be fine just to keep everyone else comfortable. I've watched you carry people's burdens without complaint. I've seen you offer your time, your energy, your patience, even when you were running low yourself. You give without hesitation. You forgive without drama. You love without conditions. And that kind of heart, it's rare. Rare things are sacred. Rare things shouldn't be treated casually. You deserve someone who understands that loving you isn't a temporary emotion. It's a responsibility. It's a commitment to showing up, especially on the days when you're not shining, when you're tired, when you doubt yourself. Because even in those moments, you are extraordinary. I've seen you on your quiet days, the days when you question your worth, the days when the world feels heavier than it should. And even then, there's a dignity in the way you hold yourself, a strength in the way you refuse to break completely. You think no one notices, but I do. I notice the way you look out for everyone else before yourself, the way you make space for other people's emotions, the way you choose kindness even when it would be easier to choose indifference. That's why ordinary love isn't enough for you. Ordinary love overlooks the details. Ordinary love assumes. Ordinary love gets comfortable and stops trying. You deserve a love that keeps trying. A love that plans surprises not because it has to, but because it wants to see you light up. A love that listens to your stories like they're sacred texts. A love that sees your fears and doesn't run from them. You deserve a love that protects your softness. The world can be loud, it can be impatient, it can be harsh, but when you step into love, it should feel like stepping into shelter. It should feel steady. It should feel safe. And safety isn't weakness, it's strength. Choosing gentleness. You've spent so much of your life being strong for others, holding yourself together, being the calm voice in chaos, being the dependable one. But you deserve to lean too. You deserve to rest your head against someone's shoulder and not feel like you have to be the strong one for a moment. You deserve to feel chosen every single day, not just on birthdays, not just in special moments, but in the ordinary rhythm of life. Because here's the truth, ordinary days are where real love lives. It's in the quiet mornings, in the shared glances across a room, in the unspoken understanding after a long day. It's in the way someone reaches for your hand without thinking. It's in the effort to understand you instead of trying to change you. You deserve someone who sees your flaws and doesn't treat them like problems to fix, but like pieces of a story that made you who you are. Someone who doesn't just admire your strength, but also values your vulnerability. You deserve to be loved in a way that feels intentional, not rushed, not uncertain, not half-hearted. Intentional love doesn't guess, it learns, it adapts, it grows. It doesn't fade when the excitement settles. It deepens. And when I look at you, I don't see someone meant for something average. I see someone whose presence shifts the atmosphere. Someone who carries depth in her silence and fire in her conviction. Someone whose laughter can cut through the heaviest day. That kind of soul deserves devotion. You deserve a love that celebrates your birthday like it's a national holiday, a love that marks your milestones, a love that remembers the small dates and the big dreams. You deserve someone who believes in your future as fiercely as you believe in others, someone who stands beside you when you chase what scares you, someone who reminds you of your power when you forget it, because you will forget sometimes. There will be days when you question if you're enough, days when you replay mistakes in your head, days when your confidence dips and your doubts grow louder than they should. And on those days, ordinary love might stay silent, but extraordinary love speaks. It says, I see you. It says, I'm not going anywhere. It says, you are more than this moment. You deserve consistency, not intensity that burns fast and fades, not passion without stability. You deserve steady hands, a calm presence, a love that feels like home instead of chaos. And you deserve to feel desired without feeling objectified, admired without being pressured, supported without being controlled. You deserve a love that trusts you, that respects your independence, that doesn't try to shrink you to feel bigger, because you were never meant to be small. You were meant to expand, to grow, to explore, to become more with each passing year. And the person who stands beside you should celebrate that growth, not fear it. When I surprised you with that birthday party, it wasn't just about the night, the cake, the candles. It was about proving something quietly but clearly. That you are worth effort, that your happiness is worth planning, that your smile is worth protecting. It was a reflection of something deeper, a refusal to let you settle for less than you deserve, because ordinary love would have said it's just a birthday, but extraordinary love says it's you. It says your existence is reason enough to gather people together. Your presence is reason enough to light candles. Your heart is reason enough to try harder, to be better, to show up fully. You deserve more than ordinary love because you are not ordinary. You are layered. You are thoughtful, you are strong and soft at the same time. You are the kind of person who makes others feel understood, and people like you don't come around often. So no, I won't love you in a way that feels routine or predictable or careless. I won't love you halfway. I won't love you only when it's easy, because you deserve a love that rises to meet your depth, a love that matches your loyalty, a love that honors your heart the way it should have always been honored. You deserve to feel celebrated, not just in rooms filled with music and laughter, but in the quiet spaces where it's just us, and the world feels smaller and more honest and more real. And I look at you and understand that loving you is not something casual or temporary, but something intentional and steady and deliberate, and something that requires courage. Because loving someone like you means choosing to show up fully every single day without hiding behind excuses or distractions. And I choose that because you are worth that and more and far beyond anything ordinary could ever offer. And I will never treat your heart like something common or replaceable because it isn't, and you aren't, and you never will be. When the cake was placed in front of you and the candles were lit, something shifted in the room. The noise softened, conversation slowed, the music dipped into the background like it understood. This moment wasn't about sound, it was about meaning. Those candles weren't just wax and flame. They were time. They were memories. They were chapters of your life standing quietly in front of you, glowing. And as I watched the light flicker across your face, I realized something deeper was burning there too. A promise, not the loud kind, not the kind that demands applause, but the steady kind, the kind that lives in actions more than words. Each candle represented a year you survived, a year you grew, a year you became more of who you are. And standing there watching you close your eyes to make a wish, I made one of my own. I promised myself that I would never let your light burn alone. Life isn't always warm, it isn't always bright. There will be winds, there will be unexpected storms, there will be nights that feel longer than they should. But candles teach us something important. Even the smallest flame pushes back against the dark. And you've been doing that your entire life. You face things quietly. You've carried burdens without making them anyone else's responsibility. You have walked through hard seasons with grace even when no one noticed how heavy they were. That's why those candles meant more than celebration. They were proof of your resilience, proof of your strength, proof that you are still here, still standing, still glowing. The promise hidden behind them was simple but powerful. I will stand beside that light, not in front of it to block it, not behind it to hide, but beside it, protecting it when the wind tries to blow too hard, shielding it when doubt creeps in, honoring it when it shines bright enough to light the entire room. Because loving you isn't about grand speeches, it's about quiet consistency. It's about choosing you when the music fades and the guests go home and the room returns to silence. Anyone can celebrate you when the lights are on, but the real promise is in the after the cake is gone, after the surprise becomes a memory. That's where love proves itself. The candles will eventually melt away, their flames will disappear, but what they represent, the intention behind them, that remains. I didn't just plan a party, I made a commitment to remember the details, to show up on days that aren't marked on calendars, to celebrate small victories, to hold your hand when things don't go as planned. When you leaned forward to blow out the candles, the room held its breath. For a split second, the world felt suspended. And then darkness, but it wasn't real darkness because the glow stayed in your eyes. That's when I understood something clearly. The light was never in the candles. It was always in you. The promise hidden behind them is this: I will never forget that. I will never treat your glow as something temporary. I will never assume it will always shine without care. I will nurture it, respect it, protect it. There will be years ahead of us. Birthdays we haven't celebrated yet. Moments we can't predict. Some will be loud and joyful. Others will be quiet and reflective. But in every one of them, I want you to feel the same certainty you felt tonight. That you are valued, that you are chosen, that your presence matters deeply. Love isn't proven in a single gesture. It's proven in repetition, in showing up again and again, in lighting new candles each year and remembering why the first ones mattered. The promise is that I will keep lighting them even when life feels routine. Even when the world feels chaotic, I will pause, I will remember, I will celebrate you. Because you are not an ordinary moment in my life. You are a turning point. You are the reason ordinary days feel layered with meaning. And if the wind ever blows too hard, if fear creeps in, if doubt whispers too loudly, if exhaustion dims your spark, I will be there. Steady hands around that flame, refusing to let it disappear. Not because I have to, but because I want to. The promise hidden behind the candles isn't flashy. It doesn't need witnesses. It doesn't demand recognition. It lives in quiet decisions made daily, to listen, to understand, to stay. As the smoke from the blown-out candles curled into the air and disappeared, it felt symbolic. Another year completed, another chapter closed. But standing there looking at you, I didn't feel an ending. I felt a beginning because every candle that goes out makes space for another one to be lit in the future. Another year to grow, another year to love, another year to build something stronger than before. And my promise is to be part of those years, not as a spectator, but as a partner. Not as someone who watches your light from a distance, but as someone who walks beside it, matching it, respecting it, learning from it. Tonight was a celebration. But beneath the laughter, beneath the music, beneath the surprise, there was something quieter and far more powerful. A vow forming without ceremony, a decision settling into place, a certainty that loving you means more than creating beautiful moments. It means sustaining them, protecting them, returning to them when life feels uncertain, and remembering that behind every candle we light, there is a promise to keep choosing each other again and again and again, long after the flames have faded and the room has emptied and the night has moved on. Because what was hidden in that soft golden glow was never just about a birthday. It was about the future we will continue to build, one steady, intentional, unwavering choice at a time. Tonight may look like a celebration of the past, of the years you've lived, the memories you've made, the candles you've blown out. But to me, it feels like the starting line of something greater, because birthdays aren't just about counting time. They're about marking growth. And when I look at you, I don't just see who you've been. I see who you're becoming. I see strength that hasn't even fully realized its power yet. I see dreams you haven't spoken out loud. I see a future that feels brighter simply because you're in it. This party wasn't only about surprising you. It was about setting a tone. It was about showing you that the life ahead of you, the life ahead of us, won't be ordinary. It will be intentional. It will be thoughtful. It will be built with effort. When you walked into that room, you stepped into more than a celebration. You stepped into a preview, a glimpse of what it looks like when someone plans around your happiness, when someone studies your heart, when someone decides that your joy is worth preparation, patience, and risk, because love requires risk. It requires showing up vulnerable. It requires investing time without guarantees. It requires trusting that the effort you pour into someone will be received with care, and I'm not afraid of that risk with you. In fact, I welcome it. The future we begin tonight isn't about grand events every day. It's about a pattern, a rhythm, a promise that I will keep choosing you in ways both big and small. It's in the future birthdays I'll plan, even when you say you don't need one. It's in the quiet nights when I'll sit beside you after a long day and listen without interruption. It's in the mornings when the world feels rushed, but I still pause to remind you that you matter. I don't want to be just the man who surprised you once. I want to be the man who keeps surprising you with consistency, because that's what builds something lasting. The future isn't built in one dramatic gesture. It's built in repeated decisions, deciding to stay patient when things get hard, deciding to communicate instead of withdraw, deciding to protect what we have instead of taking it for granted. And tonight, as the laughter echoes and the candles fade into memory, I feel that decision settling deeper inside me. This isn't just about loving who you are now. It's about loving who you will be in 5 years, in 10, in moments we can't predict yet. You will grow, you will change, you will evolve, and I want to grow with you. I want to learn the new versions of you as they unfold. I want to celebrate your achievements before you even realize how big they are. I want to stand beside you when you chase something that scares you. Because the future is unpredictable, but intention isn't. My intention is steady. The night you were surprised, you saw how deeply you are valued. But what you didn't see was the quiet certainty in me, the understanding that this is only the beginning. We're not just celebrating a year that passed. We're stepping into years that are coming, years filled with ordinary mornings that feel extraordinary because we share them, years with challenges that will test us but strengthen us, years with celebrations that won't need an audience to feel meaningful. The future we begin tonight is built on something simple but powerful: choice. I choose you when it's easy. I choose you when it's complicated. I choose you when life feels heavy and when it feels light. And that choice isn't dramatic, it's deliberate. When the guests leave and the decorations come down, what remains is us.